Right, you're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. On Book Chat today, we will be reviewing a book titled Ijanikin Chronicles from Tare, who is a creative storyteller and career spanning in media, film, teaching, and the arts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tare. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you have a very interesting book called, or rather titled, Ijanikin Chronicles, Memoirs from Secondary School.
Yes.
And I can totally relate to that because you're asking me what school did I go to?
Yes.
I went to Federal Government College, Warri.
Warri?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So,
it's our 60th anniversary next year. And it's quite interesting because I run a podcast for them.
Okay.
And a segment of the podcast is called the Fegocolian Chronicles.
Oh.
So seeing this, it made a lot of sense. And I'm like, oh my God, because we tell so many stories of things that happened. And imagine people going to school in 1970 something, they have so many stories to tell.
Yes.
But tell us about this book. What inspired you to write this? Because a lot of people went into secondary school, but not all of them have said, you know what, I want to write a book about it. Okay. Why did you say, you know what, let's do this?
So this has a very interesting story. So when my kids were between the age of 4 and 11, I have 4 kids. So when they were between the age of 4 and 11, I had this habit, family habit, every night to do bedtime stories. And we had a lot of books. And on one of those nights, we had gone through everything. And they were like, oh, we need to tell us a story. And so I said, okay, I told them something from school. Just thought of one of the things that happened in school. I told them. And the next night, they were like, oh, let's do it again. And I'm like, and this kept on happening for a few nights. So I felt like, wow, this is interesting. If these kids can find this interesting, maybe other people, you know, children and all that, or adults will find it interesting. So I penned it. I put it down in a manuscript form. That was a while back, and then put it aside for a bit. Then sometime last year, I met a company called Bookie Allison Consulting, and then we went through the whole process of revising the book, and that's
it.
Now you have the book in your hand.
Right here, and it's so funny. Like, I mean, I've been reading different parts, and I'm like, oh my God, I can totally relate, especially if you went to a boarding school.
Yes.
Now, tell us about your first day in boarding school. I remember mine. I was 8 years old, and as I walked into the halls of my dormitory, I was scared. I had mixed emotions. I mean, I was happy that now I'm a big girl, I can go to school, but there was that part like, are you sure you want to do this? But tell us about your first day in secondary school before the series of events starts to happen.
Okay, so the first day was quite interesting because when you read the book, you find out something happened before.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a bit of a traumatic event happened in the night before. But my mom insisted I went to school. So we got there late, and it was overwhelming because you walk into this space and there are like, in a room you had like 24 students, and then you had like, you know, each room, there were 8 rooms. And then, you know, all these boys running up and down and doing stuff. And then you could tell all the new kids because everything about us was new. Our uniform was new. And then we're all shy.
Did you have initiation night?
We didn't. We didn't. But my first night was a bit of an initiation night because I got a bit of a welcome. Yes.
What happened?
I was called out for being awake after lights out. And I got a bit of a twaking.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so there are some characters in this book, but before we even get to the characters, right, are these their real names, or did you have to switch things up?
So at the beginning of the book, there's a bit of a forward where I say this is a work of fiction, and then have changed certain names. Okay? So, but a lot of the names are still real. You know, they're my friends, my classmates, and nobody has come to beat me up yet. So I think
that is good. I think
I'm good.
So tell us about Mrs. Obianuju that was singing.
Oh yes. So Mrs. Obianuju was. She was a math and geography teacher in Ijanikin, Federal Government College Ijanikin at the time. And she was a very inspirational woman. She was tall. You know, she was tall and big, and we were all scared of her. And she always carried a cane around that she rarely used. But she had this, once she walked into the class, her presence would fill the space and all that. But then along the line, we found out that she was a really, really nice motherly figure. Aww. Yeah, very, very nice. By the time I got to my final year from 5, she was one of those who gave me, she gave the whole class a very, very powerful tip. She said, oh, if you're going to read math, you don't cram. Yeah, just study for it.
Study the equation.
Study, and the night before your exam, go and sleep. Don't do an all night, because everything will work out of your head. And just sleep, go into the exam calm, and you'll be fine.
And did that work for you?
Oh, it worked.
Oh,
yeah, it did. I didn't repeat it.
Oh, that is good. That is good. I mean, she was singing, so I had to even open this page because it was quite interesting. Like 1J dance, Coco.
Yeah, it was
and
very
you guys were shocked. And then they're like, is this a joke?
We thought it was a joke. And then she was laughing, and we're laughing. And so it was a very, you know, like when your mom punishes you, and then she, because my mom used to do this, she'll punish you, then she'll come and she'll now, hug you, and then, start cracking jokes. So it was very much like that. It was like, so those were the things that kind of eased that entry, the shock of, boarding school.
So I feel like this is such a beautiful book, and a lot of people can relate to it because, when we were much younger, you had the Ali's a boy kind of book.
Yes.
Eze goes to school.
Eze goes to school.
Yes, there was another one that
true.
went into the city.
Yeah.
All of that. And this just feels like taking it back in time. The kind of stories that we read, but now these are stories that happened, and it's not just fictional, right? So with this book, tell us about, some other characters that are prominent.
So you have some prominent characters. You have one of the seniors who used to play pranks by the name of Chike, who there's this scene where
his real name?
You have...
you can't say. Go ahead.
So there's this scene where there's... they had this tradition back in boarding school. It changes with each school, all right? And it was called One Boy There.
Oh.
Yeah, so they would call out One Boy There, and then all the kids...
Oh, yeah. One
boys,
girl, I know that.
Yes,
that happened.
they would run and all that. So he had this habit of, he would just close his eyes and say, the tallest should go, the shortest should go, the darkest should go, the fattest should go, the lightest should go. Yeah, and then when he opens his eyes, whoever is left is the person he will send on an errand.
Wow.
Yeah, so there were so many interesting characters. There was a guy, Senior White, who always felt, he used to spar with me. He was in Form 5, but he used to spar with me because he felt I was this kid that could take all his punches. And he was also inspirational because he was a bodybuilder. Oh. Yes, and he just inspired, other kids. And then he used to inspire me because he would make me do the whole power...
Exercises.
Yeah, exercises. So it was quite...
I feel like you really had such a good time in secondary school. That's the reason why you had to pen it in a book.
Well, going through the book, it's a mix. So there's a bit of the trauma. I don't try and hide from what happens in boarding school. And in writing the book up, it's also like a reflection of, is this the right thing? Because I know a lot of parents will say, oh, my child will never go to boarding school because of their own experience.
Yeah, the traumatic experience.
Yes. I had a mix of everything. So there was the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind the book is for us to embrace the adventure of life, because life comes with everything.
True.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So rather than, in the book, I don't hide from the traumatic experiences. I talk about some of the body shaming, about bullying. So those are all experiences that...
So for you, what are some things that you really learned from boarding school that you would say, you know what, it shaped me for life, it did set me up?
Oh, resilience. Definitely resilience. Managing my time.
Yes.
And then understanding, I mean, this is Nigeria, independence was yesterday. Understanding Nigeria, because we had students from every corner of this country.
Yeah, I think there was a quota, 25 per state. Yeah,
something like that, yes. Yeah. It was very, very enlightening, because that was my first experience of Nigeria in its full, diaspora. And we're just, that is something that is still maintained all through.
That is beautiful. I mean, for everyone, the book is called, or is titled, Ijanikin Chronicles, Memoirs from Secondary School. So this is such a good read. If you think that you love secondary school or you love the stories, you should definitely get this book. We want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a great time conversing with you and hearing some of your stories. And thank you for making this book. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what's happening in the kitchen with our seafood coconut rice. Mary, what's happening?